Hey there, it's Joe Cox Jr., making your life more simple, coming from a narcissistic world. So what we're going to talk about today is, do your parents truly want what's best for you? You think they do. It'd be natural to think they do. But wonder if I told you that I believe the majority of parents don't. That's sad, but I'm finding it to be true. Well, we know that probably about 1 in 5 people are narcissistic. So that right there, you're going to weed out any of those. That's 20% right there. Now, you might have some parents that may not necessarily be narcissistic, but they're insecure on their own abilities. And they don't understand that they have a different way of looking at the accomplishments of their children. Narcissistic people look at their children as competition. So it's next to impossible for a narcissistic parent to wish good things upon their children, because they feel like their children then beat them. Okay? So they've got to then do something more aggressively to beat their child. That's what happened with me in my life. For instance, my father, I don't think there's a single thing that he can do better than I can. And well, the main reason is because he's never focused on his own growth. He's been too much of a follower with his buddies, partying, things like that. Never really got into any type of extracurricular activities, never really had any real hobbies. So there's nothing there to satisfy that need, which I believe we all need. So when I was successful, it makes him feel insecure. So he's got to now do something to stage me up and deceive me and take money, steal money from me and my things was his way. He betrayed me and took $250,000. So it is what it is. I learned my lesson. I see the whole pattern, and I'm using all these lessons to help you understand that there are narcissistic parents out there that do not want you to succeed, and I believe there's others as well. If you've come from a narcissistic family and you wonder why your parents behave in certain ways. Now, I've heard that there's other type parents to where they push their children, never happy with their abilities. You call these a lot of times they may be perfectionists. I've heard some people say narcissists are perfectionists. I've never seen that to be true, because I think they push you to perfection, so you think they're perfectionists, but really they live very sloppy lives. Their life is chaotic within themselves. So if they push somebody else to perfection, don't assume that that's what their standard is. They're just trying to sabotage you. They're trying to set you up where you can't win. So a lot of people take perfectionism and narcissists as a quality, if you will. So what we want to make sure is you understand that most parents, and I believe this is majority. I know if 20% are narcissists, then I believe there's many others that are just inadequate. I believe that narcissistic number might be actually pretty low today, but who knows? What I want to make sure you know, though, is that your job is to become the best you. You were born the perfect you. Your job is to become the best you. In order to do that, we actually naturally seek validation from our parents, no matter what age we are. I realize whether we do it at 10 years old or we're 50 years old. If you still have that relationship with a parent and don't understand how it affects you, you may still be seeking approval from them. The day you stop seeking approval or validation from a parent is the day you actually will take control of your own life. You don't need validation from your parents. You do maybe as a child, because children grow up to be more of emotional and, how do you say it? They operate out of feelings and emotions. As you get to an adult, 18 plus, and you're out on your own, are you working a career because that's the career your parents wanted you to do? I cannot tell you how many stories I've heard on that. I went and became so-and-so and excelled at it, but I hate it. This is not what I wanted to do. My parents wanted me to be a lawyer, so I went to law school. I did all this, and I hate it. Or being an accountant. I wanted to be an artist, you know. I wanted to play in a band. I wanted to do this. I want to do... So you can't be your authentic self until you know who you are. And if you're living your life for someone else, it's going to be very difficult, next to impossible, to live an authentic life. So the goal behind this video is to help you understand that most parents don't really want the best for you. Now, I think there are high quality parents out there, loving, nurturing parents. Yes, I wasn't fortunate enough to have one of those, but I do know of other people. They said they had a great childhood. I've also heard of people saying they had a great childhood, but then they wound up marrying a narcissist because they were sheltered and didn't understand the real world out here. So I've learned that I'm doing these videos to where they're kind of straight across the board. So it's not just focused on just narcissism, but any type of toxic or negative or detrimental behaviors. Most of these are from, the narcissistic world, because that's what I came from. That's what I know best. I know it inside and out. I can read a narcissist. I can, soon after I meet one, I'll know just from their behaviors. There's a channel called Estranged Parents, and I watched it, and I'm like, what child would ever want to be estranged from their parent when their parent is loving and kind? This channel is trying to promote that I was loving and kind parent, and now my child wants nothing to do with me. That's difficult for me to understand. Let me know in the comments below if you were brought up well, but you just didn't want anything to do with your parents anymore. I'd like to hear from you and find out why. This lady's claiming that her child has, said that she's controlling, her and her father's controlling and all this, but she just went no contact with this parent, and the parent's trying to say, we loved her, we nurtured her, we did this, we did that. What I did not hear that parent ever say is that we reached out to find resolve. I've never known a narcissist to ever reach out and say, I want to resolve. So I take everything with a grain of salt. I try to analyze it. I'm not saying I'm always right when it comes to other channels or other people and assessing it, but I have been around it where if I'm face to face with it, I'll ring it every time these days. I know exactly what to look for. I know exactly, and I will say I'm still learning, and I'm still learning new things as I go. That's the thing about life. You'll never stop learning if you're looking for the lesson in life. But I want you to know that there are good parents out there, because I've known people that talk about their parents that way. I never truly experienced it, but I'd love to hear a comment below. Did you have good parents? Did it turn out well for you? Did you have narcissistic parents and you took you a long time to realize that they really and truly, the more successful you became, the harder they were on you, or they degraded you or stole from you or became different people? Because narcissism, the thing about narcissism, the older they get, the worse they get. Let me say that again. Narcissistic parents, the older they get, the worse they get. That's why I recommend, if you have an older narcissistic parent and they have been nothing but negative for you and believe that it stole a lot of your happiness away from you, you don't have a duty to be involved with a parent or anybody else for that matter that harms your life. No one should go around harming you. No one has a right to degrade you, belittle you, or hurt you in any way. We're supposed to be kind to each other. There's always a kind way to approach everything in life. I have narcissistic parents. I could sit down and talk to them today. My anger has been released. I've forgiven them, but I've reached out to them before and say, hey, if you ever want to resolve it, if you ever want to sit down, neither one of my parents, they can't stand each other. My parents can't stand each other unless they're attacking me. That's the only time they ever come together. Isn't that interesting? But my parents have chosen their life, and I'm okay with that if that's the life. But I am now doing my best to create my best life today. So I'm hoping that this story helps you out. Know that there are parents out there that will hurt you, that do, that actually take joy from harming you. I experienced that firsthand from both of my parents, that they actually took joy and laughed at me when I was at my lowest point. But when I was up here, they had nothing but, when I was up here doing well, they had nothing but criticism. Sad people. They create their own hell. Let them live in their hell. Let them live in whatever they've created. This is Joe Cox Jr., Life Made Simple, getting you through this narcissistic world. Blessings to you. Bye-bye.